Hello and welcome to the 2022 VMMNA MLeague Summer Series semi-finals. We are coming to you live from the Melbourne Sports Centre here in Parkville. Michael Hutchinson here with you in commentary for the first semi-final between the Netblacks and the Seahawks. Joining me in commentary for this first semi-final is Matt Blomley. Matt, you've been MLeague coordinator before, many, many years. How good is it to finally see almost a full season back of MLeague?
Oh, it is absolutely thrilling. I've been so excited by this season from the teams that have come back to us, the changes in sides, but also just the quality of competition and excitement of each of the boys that we're seeing out there. And the first goal to Junior Levi, which is not surprising.
Not surprising at all. Junior Levi heads this Netblacks side. Goal attack alongside him is Brody McLeish. Wing attack, Cameron Powell. Centre is Deepak Patu. Wing defence, Kai Suzuki. Goal defence, Jacob Mundy and Jake Schuster at goalkeeper. As you see, the first turnover from the Seahawks. The Seahawks line up with Danny Lotes at goal shooter. Goal attack, Jaden Cowling. Torin Imamaka at wing attack. Centre, James Robertson. Wing defence, Hadley Dixon. Goal defence, Sam McCarris. And goalkeeper, Taryn King. So the Netblacks finishing the regular season in second position. And Seahawks in third, and the other semi-final coming up after this one at 8 o'clock will be 1v4, 2 knockout semi-finals this season. It's a quick season, just a 10-week season with a match already abounded due to COVID, and we've really been lucky to get most of the season done. With Seahawks now in possession, looking to score their first match of the game. Just a bit of a high ball there from Hadley Dixon.
And Seahawks, having had a couple of injuries near the end of the season, they're probably going to struggle a little bit at the start here just to find their rhythm with the same starting seven, whereas Netblacks have been pretty solid with the same group most of the year as they go for their fourth in a row.
Cam Powell, just a bullet into Junior Levy. These two sides played last week. Seahawks going down 59-34.
And you would have said it was an undermanned Seahawks at that point in time.
Danny Lotes, has missed the last few weeks with an ankle injury. He did train with the Victorian reserve side in full on Saturday, so they will be very thankful to have him back this week for this knockout clash. Junior Levy, 45 goals last week in this clash, and that is a quick ball from Patu, but just a mishandle there from Levy. Uncharacteristic.
It'll be interesting to see how Seahawks go. Normally they'd have Tim Malmo back at keeper, Victorian Opens player for a number of years, as well as Australian Open. And he knows how to play on Junior. He's played on him a number of times. So it's just a little bit more work. We've got the young fella in there in keeper today. But great experience for him.
Yeah, huge experience. Malmo, unfortunately, missing due to isolation requirements, which has sort of plagued a number of teams throughout the season.
Absolutely. I'd say there'd be very few sides that haven't been affected by isolation at some stage this season, let alone the entire competition at points in time at the end of last year. But very exciting drive from Jaden Cowling on that note. Here's a typical long shot that we normally expect to go in, just rimming out. Would like to see him find his range before maybe putting up that confident long one.
Robertson now, circle edge. Good pop over the top to Lotes, who scores his second. 4-2, 3 minutes gone in the opening quarter.
And as we expected, Seahawks have started to settle a little bit. They're going to find a little bit of ball. They are an exciting defensive team overall. So I think we will see a bit of turnover through the court for them.
Yeah, Sam McCarris has been around for a long while as well.
And having a look at the feeds from James Robertson into Danny Lotes so far, Danny's such a target there. As they go 3 in a row with centre pass to maybe bring it back to even after this one.
It was a bit of a shaky start from the Seahawks, but they're finding their rhythm now. Imamaka just a little stuck, short there from Schuster.
And Schuster's such a strong presence at goalkeeper for Netblacks. He's a physical presence, but that said, a clean physical presence through there. He really makes his defenders work, but Danny Lotes is not an easy target to get around.
Umpires for this match, Joel Owen and Justin Barnes, two incredibly experienced umpires. Not the best ball into Junior Levy again, but
that was a great one-handed take, I must say. The great thing with having these umpires, as you mentioned just before, is they're both very experienced in the men's competition. Joel, you'd say, is arguably an expert in the men's competition with how many years he's been doing it alongside the women.
Some would say he co-wrote the rule book.
Some would say that, and they may be us as those some. Justin Barnes as well, a former men's player himself for both Victoria and WA, and maybe possibly a sneaky appearance with New South Wales when he was living in WA and they didn't have sides.
And also an SSN umpire as well. Now, Justin Barnes.
Yes, and well-deserved SSN umpire, I must say.
Powell, great read from Taryn King.
I love the fearlessness of him as well, goalkeeper. He's up against a hell of a lot more experienced player.
One of the best players in the world, really.
Someone who's played for international level for a number of years against a kid, and he's not even afraid of it. He just still has a crack, keeping his head up. It's exciting to see where he's going to go in the future.
Another little pop pass to Lotes, and Seahawks level again. Last week they actually trailed by 6 at quarter time, and it blew out to 13 by the halftime break. So interested to see how long that they can stick with Netblacks, who have been really punishing, even without Junior Levy this year in the one game that he didn't play.
Well, they've got a core that's played together now for a couple of years across, in some of their cases, for Queensland before they moved down to Victoria, and then as a similar side in the last MLeague competition as well. So they've really found a rhythm, but I think they've also had some strong coaching this year. Rani Samuson, SSN player herself, has been alongside and keeping the boys in line in that side, and I think the discipline of the side has been really on show this year.
Yeah, Rani currently shooting the lights out for the Vixens at training. Super shots galore we're expecting from Samuson in 2022. Netblacks now on the attack. Powell looking circleward. Only had eyes for Levy.
And there's been a lot of off-the-circle feeds for Netblacks so far. And you've got to say, they're much stronger when they're feeding from on the circle. It's a very difficult target to miss from on the circle, whereas you're giving these defenders a chance when you're feeding from so far off.
Lots of wheeling and dealing from Imanmaker and Robertson so far. A little stuck in that transition off the second phase, and just a ball over the top there for Lotes. Suzuki. Oh, Hadley-Dixon with the touch.
And it's a very Hadley-Dixon move, that one. Just a little silent assassin, especially at wing defence. Comes through, has some great attempts.
Just an offensive contact there on Suzuki.
As a wing defence, you've probably got to be careful getting those couple in a row on the call. Just take the attention away from yourself for a little bit now, so the umpire's not thinking you're necessarily in it, because realistically they've probably been the first couple of obstructions or contacts that have occurred for Kai Suzuki. So be able to be left alone as a wing defence is not a bad thing.
Oh, that ball turned McLeish inside and out, and McCarris picks up the crumbs swiftly through court from the Seahawks. A little bit of a falcon there.
Yeah, and a bit of a, better not pick it up again just in case. Does not want to get that played ball call.
Powell through the middle again, looks outward. Patu. McLeish, that was a good front cut And a confident shot. Is it going to fall in? It does.
It looked good off the hand, but then all of a sudden on the edge of the rim, it wasn't looking quite as strong. But he is such a lovely shot, young Brody McLeish. And no doubt got a bit of confidence from playing the exhibition match the other week down in Traralgon with the older boys.
10-7 now to the Netblacks. Just opening up another little lead for themselves. But that was a beautiful ball into Danny Lotes. And rewarded.
I would like to see Jaden Cowling go to post a little bit here now for the Seahawks. I think they're strongest when they can take some attention away from Danny because that really opens him up at post.
An offensive penalty on Junior Levy, just a little bemused by the call, doesn't think it was him.
Which is often the case for goal shooters. They never do any wrong, regardless of which team they play for.
I would never say that Junior Levy is a princess, ever.
Certainly not out loud, anyway.
I'm going to make a good shuffle around to the top of the circle.
The away hand there from Schuster was brilliant, but it was just that one right in the body. Danny Lotes just had superb position, which I think caught Jake Schuster off guard. He thought he was going to be able to go with the contest, but then all of a sudden wasn't there.
Twice now, Netblacks have had a break of 3. They scored the first 3, I think it was the first 4 of the game, and the Seahawks have been able to answer the challenge so far. That was great hands from Jacob Mundy. And with that, the Seahawks level it up. 10 apiece, just under 4 minutes remaining in the opening term. The winner going straight to the grand final next Wednesday night.
Yeah, it is a knockout set of semi-finals this year, which means both semi-finals that you'll see this evening will be the winners straight through. The losers on this occasion don't get a second chance, regardless of how well the rest of their season's gone. And look, Seahawks had a great start to the year, not so great finish. I'd say Netblacks have been more consistent throughout the year. They've had a very solid year. So this will make a very interesting game in itself as who's going to be the more consistent today.
Yeah, Netblacks just the one loss across season 2021-22 against St. Therese by 8 goals. Whereas, as you said, Seahawks won their first 4 games. They have not won a game in 2022.
Which is a scary figure when this side of the year you're playing finals. You probably want to be going in with a little bit of form into that. But no doubt, as a side, they've probably spoken about it and just said, get back to the game plan that we had been playing with. Jaden Cowling sinking his first goal.
Yeah, the Seahawks last week, they were still going to finish 3rd or 4th, regardless of the result last week.
Hunt. That's exactly what you want to see from goalkeeper as well, taking the step off a tall shooter to go for a hunt.
Strong take from Levy, which he's done about 4 million times in his career to date. Also his first miss of the game.
Yeah, probably just went a bit light up with the shot. I think took the mind off it for a moment there.
Oh, hand did it from Suzuki again. He's had a bit to say in this opening term.
It would have been good to see Danny Lotes do his heel pivot there and turn and look at that shot. He can shoot from there, with no doubt, but at least to get the defenders away from him. They know he's going to refeed from the longer one at the moment, so why not at least get those defenders off you?
And a Levy sandwich results in another goal for Netblacks. And again, they take a 2-goal lead, centre pass to follow. 90 seconds to go in the first quarter. And a chance for another 3-goal lead. And that is a beautiful pass from Cameron Powell. And a lead they've had twice already is restored.
And that was a similar sort of example there from Junior. I would have liked to see him turn and look at that one as well. I don't think he realised quite as close as he was there. I think the 2-point line that's there for the Vixens practices maybe throwing off some of these goalers a little bit, not realising how close it actually is.
That's a controversial topic.
Yes, we don't play the 2-point rule in the men's game. Certainly not at the moment, and for my own personal opinion, I hope not in the near future anyway. I do like seeing the long shot, but I still like seeing it as just part of a normal game.
40 seconds remaining in the first term. Time just held for the ball away from the court.
Not afraid to kick it back to the line for some patience here, Seahawks.
Oh, and it just opened at the last half second too for Lotes.
And Kai Suzuki's never afraid to have a contest around the edge of the circle, and he will come up with a number of those. And leave Jaden Cowell in at your own peril on that one.
Yeah, tough shot too. Just another read. Good read there from Sam McCarris. And I'm going to say that that's going to be the last score of the quarter.
It'll be unlikely as not a call. And given that it was a goal shooter contact, definitely no other score for this quarter.
So 14-12 Netblacks over the Seahawks at quarter time here in the minor semi-final. So welcome back to the second quarter. Netblacks a 14-12 lead at quarter time over Seahawks as a quick ball into Junior Levy, and he scores his first of the second term. Craig Moore joins us, who is the VMMNA MLeague coordinator. Craig, just mentioned to Matt at the top of the stream that we're quite grateful to be able to have almost a full MLeague season take place.
Absolutely. It was great to have this summer comp, and the main focus was just to get everyone back on court. And we had that 10-week season planned, and apart from that 1 week where it was a bit of a hiccup, it's been quite a successful season. So very happy about that.
So not only have we got a Prem men's and mixed, and a Div 1 men's and mixed, but 3 junior MLeague competitions as well. Tell us a bit about how that's panned out this season.
Yeah, so in previous years we've had our junior MLeague, which has only been sort of an under 18s or 17 boys comp, played on a different night and a different time of year, and we just thought it's about time to bring it all together so we can have these junior boys come and watch the seniors. And so, yeah, we've brought it all together, and we've got 4 15 boys teams, and the same in the 18 boys and 18 mixed as well, which is really great to see.
What are your hopes over the next 6 months? Obviously, it takes a lot of planning to put on an MLeague season. It's not just a matter of rocking up on a Wednesday night here in Parkville and wanting to play a game of netball. What are your hopes over the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, so obviously the pathway for junior boys to continue playing. We all know that they lack that opportunity once they've aged out of that 13 comp at their domestic competition. So the immediate future I am planning to have, and I've spoken to Netball Vic and State Netball Hockey Centre, is to have a junior comp mid-year, so May to sort of July, that 10-week comp, and that's aimed to be that 15, 17 or 18 age group. And then when our MLeague season resumes again in September, to have everyone come back together. As far as long-term, yeah, just continuing and pushing that pathway through for the junior boys. With the academies that we've got in line, and just getting our name out there basically is really important. Word of mouth is been really great so far too.
And just lastly, VMMNA's junior tournament, Fast and Furious, this weekend, this Sunday. Can you tell us a bit about that?
It's run by one of our 17 17 coaches. It's been hugely successful in the last few years, with all of our state 17 boys getting involved and and getting so many associations at a domestic or rep level playing as well. It's very big, and we're hoping to get our name out there at this weekend's tournament as well.
Thanks for your time. Well done. Congrats on a great season.
Great. Thanks very much, Michael.
It's been a little bit of a slow scoring start to the second term. Just the third goal there for the Seahawks, all three to Danny Lotes. And Netblacks just the 2. 4 minutes gone in the second term, and the margin just the 1. Interestingly, Netblacks' average score this season at 59, and obviously with someone right on cue, like Junior Levy, is so prolific and such a mover too.
And Brody McLeish not being quite ready for that ball there from Cameron Powell. A very typical pass from Cameron Powell is that little loop arm. I'm not even sure the best way of describing it, but he does do that reasonably regularly.
And Lotes unflappable so far, 9 from 10 in the first quarter, 4 straight in the second as the Seahawks level up with the centre pass to follow. Seahawks, by contrast, just 45 goals per game average this season, and that actually just dropped to just 38 so far across the 4 games they've played this year. And
such a strong rebound there, Jake Schuster. That was a very determined rebound. I think that's also dictating the way this quarter started, is that teams have come out very physical for this one. Slightly different intensity to the start of the first quarter.
Had a chance to go 1 up, did the Seahawks, the first lead of the game.
And there's that connection that the 2 players there, former Queensland players, Deepak Patu and Junior Levy, have together, played together for so many years. They know each other's game inside and out.
Yeah, Deepak was player of the match in the 2019 Open Men's Australian Championship final. Had a superb game as Queensland beat New South Wales. Can you believe that it's been 3 years since we've had an Australian Championships?
I can, because we've gone through the lockdown of it. But at the same time, it feels like no time at all, even with that. Having teams back training and the excitement that the boys have, and I'm sure that that's the same across the country.
We have all fingers and toes and other parts of our body crossed for getting to Adelaide, April 17, with the start of the 2022 Australian Championships.
And look, I think everything going the way it is so far, there's no reason why those championships won't proceed. COVID's a slightly different beast than what it was these last couple of years, and I think there's a few more knowns versus the unknowns. As my voice decides to crack mid. Now I do apologise to anyone listening at home or wherever you are. Jaden Cowan's shot just falling short.
Yeah, sits at 4 from 8 so far.
Oh, a little bit too sneaky there.
Yeah.
Trying to save it. Maybe if you'd taken the landing, I think it would have been fine just to settle on that. That's just a little bit of experience there. And again, Danny Lotes' positioning is setting up some of these contacts. Jake Schuster's struggling to get around him whenever it's in that one-on-one contest.
It's tough. Danny's got a very strategic hold, so it's really difficult to manoeuvre around him.
And he holds that front space so well that he's commanding that front space. So it doesn't matter where you're putting it in there. He's not moving. Or it's taken a bit to move him, maybe is another way of looking at it.
So a press on here from Netblacks, clogging the middle. Dixon now. McCarris. Oh, Suzuki had a look.
It was interesting. There was basically just the front line playing that press then. Either the back line weren't aware, or it was a distinct strategy from their side to keep their back line in the hunting positions.
That was beautiful play through court from Netblacks.
And each time we see this come back even, it pushes back out to that 2 goals, which I think might be a theme without putting a moz on anyone in the game.
Well, to think that the 4-0 start from Netblacks has been the biggest margin of the game so far.
And without using too many sporting cliches here, the first team that genuinely settles is going to be the team to control this. And I think that's what James Robertson's just looking to do in that centre pass there. Just take the speed off it, even just for that moment. Give the team a chance to settle. Very experienced mid-quarter, James Robertson. Knows moments just to how to settle his side down.
That's 5 straight for Danny Lotes in this second term. Again, I say it's low scoring, uncharacteristically low scoring for Netblacks. Their lowest score this year, 51.
And I think that says something about the Seahawks in general across many years, but certainly this year is they are so strong defensively through the court. They have hunts, have a go at the ball. Doesn't make it easy passage.
Netblacks attack and just waiting for that to open for Levy.
Netblacks are going wide and to that right side of the court a lot. So will Seahawks pick up on that? Not so sure. But if you're looking at it from a sideline, that's something they should be noticing, trying to keep them away from that area, because that's the predominant feed inside. Jaden Cowley's shots are getting the height, but they are falling a little bit short. Maybe just a little bit more follow through for him.
Margin back to 1, less than 5 to go until the main break. Powell, McLeish, hand in it from McCarris, and Seahawks come away.
A risky pass to a bounce pass across 4 players there.
And then Patu just picks it back off. Says that was ours, thank you.
And this is what I said earlier, is once they're on that circle edge, it's very hard to stop the feed.
Junior Levy now 22 from 23. Robertson now. There's a lot of work having to be done outside the circle from the Seahawks.
And Cowley's got to recognise that he's got the people working out in front of him that maybe come draw in the attention in the circle away from Danny Lote. They're doubling him at the moment. They're leading Jaden Cowley free outside. Do the work to draw the player away. Become a threat inside the circle again.
An offensive penalty against McLeish. There's been a few against the attackers in this game. Dixon now. Robertson.
And just a couple of errors creeping in, especially in this last 5 minutes of the quarter.
It's been a torrid start to this game, and it's fairly warm in the stadium as well. Not too much fresh air coming in. That was well picked off from Cowling.
And if you're sitting at home or wherever you are and wondering why there's so many turnovers occurring, have a look how many cross-court balls have occurred in this last little bit. I think nearly every one of them's had a hand to them. Yeah, beautiful shot.
It was, and Levy out of the circle again. That time McLeish went into the circle, did the work, created some space for himself.
And look, I don't mind that from Junior Levy there. He's got the speed to be able to move it and the agility. So why not move out there at times just to open it up for a nice clear shot for Brodie McLeish, who can shoot.
And another offensive penalty, this time against Imamaker. That
not
ball,
the best feed.
It was into the wrong space. Sam McCarris just laughs it off.
Maybe assisted Junior Levy on his way across there on the feed. making it a bit more difficult in itself.
Margin out to 3.
Biggest margin since the start of the game.
Yeah, chance to restore the 4-goal margin they had at the start.
Oh, I did like
scoring the opening four goals.
I like the tenacity there to look for the hunt and go up on it. He knew he didn't have the body position, but still not afraid to have a hunt there in goalkeeper. I like it.
80 seconds remaining until half-time. The Seahawks, a vastly different side with their more prolific shooter in Lotes back in the side.
And they've definitely missed him those couple of games he was injured. Even the game against Errol's where he went down, it made a huge difference to their attack line.
Yeah, they were leading for most of the game and then lost the last quarter 11-9 to lose that by the 2.
Seahawks really need to make sure they score for this last 30 seconds. Keep themselves on the scoreboard. And that was more characteristic of Jaden Cowling. Beautiful flick on the shot, lovely arc, but not too much height on it.
Patu, that was a quick release. It barely touched his hands.
And Junior Levy maybe using up a little bit of time there to ensure there was no other centre pass and no other score.
Conveniently.
But perhaps thinking it was his centre pass next to so they didn't have to waste it.
Well, after a 14-12 opening, it's been mirrored with a 14-12 second term, and the Netblacks take a 4-goal lead into half-time, 28-24. So back for the third quarter here at Melbourne Sports Centre in Parkville. Netblacks with a slim 4-goal lead over the Seahawks. Really only built that in the last 3 minutes or so of the second term after scoring the opening 4 goals of the match. Just some shooting stats from the first half. Junior Levy, 26 from 28 at 93%. Brodie McLeish, 2 from 3 at 67%. Danny Lotes, 17 from 19 at 89%. And Jaden Cowling, 7 from 13 at 54%. And just the one change for the Netblacks that I can detect so far, Jake Schuster and Jacob Mundy have switched positions at goal defence and goalkeeper, and Seahawks remain unchanged.
And probably not a bad decision by Netblacks there to throw Jake Schuster out front. He's a very good hunter. He's so strong through the drive, through the midcourt, and I think they miss him a little bit when he's not there on that feed through. Now, I don't mind that he put up that shot. He can shoot it from there, Brodie McLeish. But even better was the fact that he knew, as soon as he was missing it, he started following the shot.
So the biggest lead of the match so far, 5 goals, 30-25.
And I suppose the question here for Seahawks is, what are you going to do differently? You've been down by 2 goals in each of the quarters, so moving out to 4, you've got to do something slightly different if you want to bring back this margin.
Oh, that was a beautiful 360 from Deepak Patu. Couldn't be finished by Junior Levy on that occasion. Just his 3rd miss of the game.
And those are the ones you'd like to see him finish off, absolutely cement. Because when you've made such a solid move like that, you want to finish it off.
Does just that on that occasion. And a 3-1 start to the 3rd term for Netblacks. Cowling offloads to Lotes.
And it was
has those for breakfast.
Because I'm not going to lie, I thought for a moment there that Jake Schuster was going to get hands to that. He timed his jump superbly. Just mills off the elevation to get it.
Seahawks into attack once again. A little stationary, not using the width of the court.
Well, we're probably just seeing a couple of players run on top of each other that we hadn't seen up until this point. Normally there's pretty good separation between Robertson and, I'm going to say Toran because I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his surname. I'm terrible with it. I do apologise to him in advance. Or should I say belatedly. But you don't normally see that crossover that we just saw then between the two of them.
Powell just pops it up. Levy goes up one-handed. Nothing Sam McCarroll could do about it. So we seem to have found a bit of a rhythm. 4 minutes into the third quarter. Lotes, beautiful pop. 1-2 with Armour Maker.
And he wasn't confident on that shot the way he followed that in, Danny Lotes, but not ever in doubt. Bit too much loop on that pass from Jake Schuster. Danny Lotes eating it up, showing his defensive side.
And Cowling, he had Armour Maker in front of him. Robertson out wide, opted for Lotes, who just slipped on the catch.
Indicating maybe there was a little bit of help there, but the umpire was in perfect position to see it.
Joel Owen doesn't need glasses like us.
No, it definitely does not have the eyesight that I currently have.
Seahawks, how? There was a look at a reset. Hadley Dixon on the line.
I'd say Jaden Cowan's intensity's lifted a little bit this quarter. Really starting to find a few more moves. Going to post like that shot.
Sweet shot.
Hadley Dixon accepting the contact, but just asking, which third do I need to be in for this one?
Make sure you stick around for the second semi-final coming at 8 o'clock between St. Therese and City Heat, 1v4. City Heat in a nail-biter last week against the Aerials. They won it in the last 10 seconds of the game, which meant that they bumped out DDNA and took that fourth spot.
And having beaten St. Therese the week before, I think it might have been.
Yeah, it was the week before, round 9, an 8-goal win. That was St. Therese's first and only loss for the year. Is what we call mouth-watering, I think, in the industry.
Look, it has every opportunity to be a very exciting match between these two sides. A lot of experience across the board. Not to take away anything from this match, as it gets back to the 5 goals with Danny Lotes scoring that goal. The real question is, can Seahawks break this back down? Because at the moment, Netblacks are just doing enough to keep pushing it a little bit ahead.
It is being played on Netblacks terms at the minute. 8 from 10 for the quarter for Junior Levy now. Armour Maker, Dixon. That was a great hand from Schuster. He stuck it there as Cowling went for the 1-2.
And because he was quite low in the body position, Jake Schuster didn't have to move initially. He was able to wait with Jaden Cowling, then come around, clean hands.
McLeish with the dummy drive and over the top to Junior Levy. Margin now at 7, and Netblacks have a chance to make it 8. Schuster, Patu, just goes long and high.
I was about to say they were struggling to find space through this mid, but with a long ball like that, you can open up so quickly and easily. Seahawks now looking to make a change.
Yeah, Taryn King, just nothing much you could do about that as the margin extends to 8, and a few changes. Quinn Spencer comes on at wing defence. Hadley Dixon moves into centre. James Robertson comes to the bench for the Seahawks.
I think James Robertson giving him a chance to catch his breath, although he will be yelling a lot from the sidelines, which we're already hearing. You may hear through the microphones. He's always very encouraging of his teammates, on or off the court.
Beautiful assist from McLeish. Yet to put up, or score a goal, I should say, in this third quarter. Hawks having to reset back to Taryn King. Find their way now. It was a beautiful front hold from Danny Lotes, but Hadley Dixon with the offside.
And such an unfortunate one because it was a great feed in.
Levy just comes out of the circle, takes the pressure off the transition, and then an offensive contact.
Yeah, just trying to force his way through. Trying to get to the ball to make the ball lead. But I think he could have just waited a moment, he would have been right. Brody McLeish had cleared well for him, giving him plenty of room in the circle.
39-31 in favour of Netblacks. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the third term. Oh, Jake Schuster. That was a beautiful manoeuvre around Danny Lotes.
He spun around so fast on that.
That was brilliant footwork.
And if it wasn't for the blind spin, I don't know that he would have got the ball. Oh, what a hunt.
Take from Taryn King. He came out early.
And that's the one you can easily get burnt on, but he went with absolute volition and ate it up. But nearly done back the other way by Jake Schuster. Just slightly different angle at the ball.
Cowling just never looked like passing off on that take.
That was a stunning
It's a
shot.
confidence builder. Brings the margin back to 7.
And this last 5 minutes where Seahawks lost a little bit in the last quarter. So we'll see if they're able to push it up and keep with it. Cowan ignoring the drive from Torin there.
And a chairlift from the Netblacks. Schuster just trying to elevate Jacob Mundy a little further in the air. The
And
Harrison hoist.
there was more than ample opportunity then to have a crack at that given the current scoreline, and they may need it in a later match.
Levy just took that ball under immense pressure to restore the 8-goal margin. That was quick play from Netblacks. And time just to wipe the ball now. It is quite muggy here in Parkville on court 6. And what have we got? 14 sweaty bodies out on court.
Yeah, it's like, can't imagine how they're going with trying to keep that intact out there. Some of the balls are slipping out, but not shown by that last pass from Jaden Cowling that went in the circle line too.
So Seahawks on the attack again. Almost lost it. Hadley Dixon. McCarris at the transverse line. Imamaka swings it. And Danny Lotes again with the front cut. That was beautiful play.
That was a confident shot, and I said it before, if Danny Lotes turns and looks at it, the players have got to come off him.
Yeah, the confidence has been a little bit patchy down that end.
Which I don't think either goal in ends needed to lack confidence with where they're putting up the shot. They're all more than capable.
And that was just absolute confidence from Deepak Patu as Junior Levy notches up his 15th goal for the quarter. And Jaden Cowling's lost his bib.
which may be some of that sweat on that bib that was being wiped off the ball just before. A nice little breather with 2 minutes 45 left in the third quarter.
And Seahawks probably need to start trying to pick off a ball or two rather than trying to run it home in the final 15. And
that was a great lead, Brodie McLeish.
Yep.
He made Sam McCarris commit to someone.
Yep.
And that opened up for a beautiful pass into Junior Levo. Going to post makes a difference, I tell you.
Netblacks again on the attack. Patu now. Only ever going to Junior Levy. Left himself plenty of space behind him.
And from the Seahawks bench, we're hearing three passes when it's there in defence. What they're trying to do is force Netblacks to have a few more passes, then there's a chance of that intent, a chance of the stop. Whereas when it's going in directly, it's a lot harder.
It's a cumulative pressure, isn't it? The more passes you're expecting a team to make, the more fatigue you're expecting.
And absolutely increasing your chance of a turnover, whether it's an intercept, whether it's a poor pass. Oh, two hunters there.
There was two, and that left a little bit of time and space for Levy. And just the athleticism from Patu on the feed. Down the middle from Seahawks, just down the guts that time. I think Lotes could have put up the shot the first time, foot out of court on the second feed into him.
And as a defensive unit, they knew the ball was going straight back there. It never looked like it was going anywhere else. So you're going to make it a hard contest.
Last 40 seconds of the third term.
Oh, just comes flying through with the hand there, Jake Schuster. Maybe could have got the grab and stop, but went, you know what, I'm just going to have it, swat at this and give myself a breather. With only 20 seconds to go here.
And plenty of time for Netblacks if they're good enough. 13 seconds left on the clock.
More than enough time for Netblacks.
Sam McCarris just doubled back on Junior Levy. It's got to go in, got to go straight in. Levy called for a replay. I think he wasn't happy with that last little contest. It didn't land
It was
quite
a weird
comfortably.
contest, for lack of better wording. Given that there was a player in front, a player behind, it's always going to be a difficult one to land cleanly on. And I think that's what he just struggled with, was a little bit of foot room there.
Yeah.
They have massive feet that try and take up the circle.
Well, Netblacks have extended their halftime lead from 4 to 7, 46-39. They lead at three-quarter time over the Seahawks. Final quarter underway between the Netblacks and Seahawks. 7 goals, the margin. And Seahawks first to score in the last quarter reduces the margin to 6. It has been as much as 8. James Robertson still on the bench after coming off during the third term. And some shooting stats to date. Junior Levy, 44 from 49 at 90%. Brodie McLeish, 2 from 4 at 50%. Danny Lotes went 12 from 12 in that third quarter and sits at 94% to three-quarter time. And Jaden Calling, 10 from 17 at 59%. They only missed one shot in that third quarter, the Seahawks, after missing 8 shots in the first half. So a much higher conversion rate. They just needed more ball.
Yeah, that volume was taken away from them a bit in that last quarter. They really need to step that up this quarter if they want to be any part of the final.
Last 15 minutes will decide who goes onto the grand final next week and who says farewell to season 2021-22. I think Deepak wants a goal attack maybe. Just in this last
maybe playing a bit of fast fives there with the wayward pass. We will call it a attempted shot perhaps. Lucky the call came inside the circle for the reprieve.
Great attempt from Suzuki. He had a pretty great first half. Dixon. Pirouette from Cowling. And
turn and shoot, I think, is a simple answer there. Turn and shoot that one. With the way he was shooting in the last quarter, there's no reason not to put that one up.
McLeish, confident. Contact on the arm.
And that was the only reason that one missed, was the contact on the arm, because such a lovely finish on the returning ball.
And a chance for number 50 for Netblacks now.
And had Quinn Spencer kept his 3 feet a tad longer there, I think he may have helped cause a turnover.
A beautiful shot from McLeish. It did not score a goal in the third term. He's 3 from 3 in the opening 3 minutes of the last quarter, and he takes the Netblacks to their biggest lead of the game at 9. And Schuster ate it.
And 9 goals is achievable. There's plenty of time, most of the quarter still to go. We've got to start looking to post. Got to start putting up those shots.
Junior Levy out of the circle, not for the first time tonight. Likes to create a bit of space. He's just happy to set this one up himself, and beautiful drive. What is he, 7'2" or something?
It's quite large.
He just moves so incredibly well. That's why he's so difficult to play against. And that makes 10. It's a long way back for the Seahawks from here.
It is indeed, especially with a pass going their way as a turnover then occurs.
And a turnover back again. That was a beautiful little pop. Levy knew that the ball was working out in front of him and just shuffled back to the post.
Beautiful quick turn of the head there, Brody McLeish as well, allowing that ball to be the quick offload. Couple of quick ones like that, and this all of a sudden 10 goals might become 8, 7, 6 goals.
It will, but they need ball, and the question is which part of the court are they going to get it in? Because so far, Netblacks have ushered the ball a little closer to the circle edge to feed it in so far in comparison to the opening 3 quarters.
Well, I suppose the other question is not just where are they going to get it, but when they get it, are they going to make sure they don't get the turnover straight away again, which has happened a couple of times.
Hadley Dixon now comes to the bench. James Robertson comes back onto the court.
I've got a feeling this may have been a pre-planned move at the break. Hadley Dixon being told, you run your guts out for 5 minutes, I'll come on and I'll give my all for the next 10.
McLeish. Number 5 for him for the quarter. That was a strong take from Lotes. Just not the finish that Seahawks need.
Great defensive effort. Not quite so good on where the save ball was going in. Going for a bit of if in doubt, throw it as far as you can down the court and hope for the best.
That ball into the guts of Lotes on that occasion.
How was there space there?
Shaw was threaded and just picked off of that centre pass, Sam McCarris. Seahawks looking to start a bit of a comeback.
And they've got to use this momentum. You get that turnover, you've got to do something with it here.
And a reset. Timer maker, and it pops in for Jaden Cowling. Margin back to 9, and centre pass to follow. 8 minutes to go in this semi-final. Cowling, can he back himself in again? He can, and he will.
And turned on an absolute dime there at the top of the circle after the offload to James Robertson.
Netblacks, no one in the circle for Netblacks. So a swing across the circle. Quinn Spencer gets his hand to it.
There was much better pressure overall from Seahawks then. They slowed the ball up through the mid-court, gave their defensive end some opportunity, or at least something for a change.
McLeish backs himself again. And another sweet shot from the youngster.
All day, every day from him.
What was that? About 1, 2, 4 times between Robertson and Cowling. And finished from Lotes.
And this is the speed on the ball they've got to have. They've got to be able to let that go that quickly, even if it isn't then an offload goaler to goaler.
I'm loving the confidence of Brodie McLeish in this last quarter, and Junior Levy encouraging him to go to the post as well.
Zero hesitation on that.
Oh, Schuster, not for the first time, reads the cross-court ball, picks it off and sets Netblacks into attack again. And Junior Levy just leaves it for Brodie McLeish.
And gets called playing the ball from the ground, a legal move. Don't see it too often, but he just got so low in that split. Kai Suzuki coming flying through.
Not the best sort of deflection back into the direction of Suzuki from Deepak Patu, but there's been very few mistakes from him tonight.
Yeah, questionable volleyball set on that one, but there haven't been many that haven't hit the target.
So Seahawks bring it back to 8. But is there enough time as it hits now 9 again with 5.5 minutes remaining? I don't think we get any sort of official responsibilities in picking a player of the match, but who's impressed you so far in this one?
Oh, Jake Schuster's been so solid for Netblacks. He's probably caused the most turnovers for them, I would say. But I can't go past Brodie McLeish so often. He's becoming an absolute little favourite player of mine, watching him. I'd find it harder to have someone from Seahawks who's had the same consistency. Maybe Danny Lotes as a target down the end, because he certainly provided a very tough position.
Well, I was going to pick Jake Schuster, so I think we should just say motion carried.
Oh, I think so, absolutely.
I think the move out to goal defence as well.
It brought him back into the game.
It certainly did, particularly in attack as well. His through court is pretty to watch.
And just his hunting on that pretty to watch note. The angles he has used have been terrific. They've been so clean at the ball, but so strong as well. So if there's someone else looking at contesting it, they're going to have to question it.
Brodie McLeish just almost doing it all on his own, and a little error in the circle from the Seahawks defenders gives Netblacks another opportunity to punish.
Cameron Powell well and truly holding his ground on the edge of the circle there.
And that brings up goal number 50 for Junior Levy. 50 from 55. Another phenomenal game from him. And there's still 3.5 minutes remaining.
There is still time to peg this back. 3.5 minutes is a lot of time. Although when you've got Junior at that end, it's not so easy to peg it back because you know that the ball's going to go through.
And Netblacks just haven't coughed up the amount of ball that Seahawks really need in the last three. So I think we can pencil in and probably get out the ink on Netblacks being the first team into the Premier Men's Grand Final next week.
With a couple of things they're going to have to clean up for next week, I think, to ensure that they're a strong chance of winning the Grand Final. There's been a few lapses that have occurred. A couple of people switched off just at some crucial times. If they can keep the consistency for the majority of the game, it's going to be very difficult to beat.
Yeah, a few times in that first half in particular, out to margins of 3 and 4, and Seahawks able to peg it back, but that was just very sweet play from Netblacks, and Jake Schuster just coming off 2:26 remaining, and Remy Prehi coming on to goal defence for the Netblacks. And Kai Suzuki hasn't stopped all game.
It can be difficult to find your timing with this amount of time to go, but I have no doubt there'll be a fair crack made there.
Margin at 10, 61-51. 2 minutes remaining. And another offensive contact. I think that's just the first offensive contact in this last quarter that we've seen.
That's something Sam McCarris always does quite well, is position his body to force a goaler to do something different. And sometimes that's not going to go the way of the goaler.
Oh, Kai Suzuki again. How many times has he had hand to ball in this game?
Great example of, if in doubt, throw the hand out. Oh, nearly a fantastic rebound there, Brody McLeish.
I hope all young netballers out there watching about how you follow in a shot from Brody McLeish.
And not dwelling on the shot either. That's the other thing. If he is missing at it, he just gets on with it.
And another offensive contact there from Levy, but he hasn't made too many errors. He's been the linchpin again in attack for this NetBlack side. And the final 50 seconds. And too much of an attempt at fancy footwork. That was like watching the speed of light from Cameron Powell.
Released, and Sam McCarris knew it was coming, just couldn't get his head around
couldn't
it
do
anywhere.
Anything about it. NetBlacks looking for a little bit of icing on the cake. Oh, picked off by I'm a Maker.
Torin I'm a Maker going, you know what, I'm going to put my finger in the frosting just to finish it off. I want a little bit of a taste of that.
There will be no cherry for you guys as we count down the final moments. And it'll be the NetBlacks 62-52 over the Seahawks to win the place. The first place into the Premier Men's Grand Final next week. Second semi-final coming up after this. St. Therese against City Heat at 8 p.m. And we hope you'll join us then.